with Cahirlook. Well, there is a huge difference of approach, Minister, certainly between our view on how this disastrous crisis of housing need has to be resolved. And, you know, you keep repeating that your party and the government is well aware of the extent of the crisis. That begs the question, why have you let it get to this extreme? And I've listened with some incredulity to the Minister for Social Protection over the recent days, expressing her heartfelt urgency for social housing to be constructed. She must have fallen off a horse on her way to see the Taoiseach to be nominated to Taoiseach and had a sudden revelation. After 3.5 years, apparently unaware of the extent of the suffering out there by ordinary people. And therefore, how seriously can we take the government in this regard? And it beggars belief that you sit there as a supposedly sovereign government and you tell us that you are not able or allow yourself to be constrained from putting money from the National Pension Reserve Fund into the construction of public housing as a government and as a public authority. Why do you have to go scouring the highways looking for private contractors when the social housing in this state, traditionally, for example, in the 1970s. And in the 1970s, despite that there were problems, but in 1975, I think it was, 8,700 homes were built by local authorities in that 1 year alone. You are submitting yourself to the right-wing neoliberal agenda, yes, Minister, being dictated by the European Union Commission and bureaucracy. Otherwise, what's the problem? Traditionally, in the 70s, we had 5, 6, 7, 8,000 houses a year produced by local authorities. Now, what does our amendment say? Our series of amendments, which are well taken together. In the first instance, we want that the agency may, in consultation with ministers of the government, develop proposals for public investment, we want to say, in those sectors, including social and affordable housing, we add, in order to support economic activity and employment, and provide urgently needed infrastructure at the same time. In other words, social housing. So we have it all there. We have necessary infrastructure for our people who are suffering in need of a home. We have economic activity being kick-started, which will rebound to communities being able to have more employment, more resources to go around, and therefore begin to resolve and turn around some of the disasters of austerity. And then the fourth amendment is that we want the functions of the agency, where it says that they can enter into an arrangement with the Minister for Education and Skills in regard to the provision of school structures. We want to say to enter into any arrangement or contract with a local authority or a public housing agency to finance the construction of social and affordable accommodation projects and the provision of the necessary social infrastructure necessary for such projects. Now, by any moral standard, Doesn't that make eminent sense? That this should be the policy, and therefore, Minister, I defy you to come back and explain what is wrong with the state, the National Treasury Management Agency, or whatever name you want to call it when it's performing this function, going in with local authorities, financing the construction of social and affordable housing projects for people to rent, and then affordable homes for people to buy, when you could in this way really resolve the housing crisis, to be honest. If you take that 8 good quality social houses can be built for about €1 million, that means $1 billion can construct 8,000. And if you put say 3 or 4 billion over a period of years, you're talking about 30,000 homes, which would begin to address the disaster and would meet very quickly the worst excesses in providing homes for people, and then would free up thousands of spaces in private accommodation as a transitional period for people who are in desperate need. Now, Minister, come back and in the language that we all can understand and our people out there can understand, tell us what's wrong with that. If it was done in the 1970s, that the local authorities could deliver at a rate of 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8,000 year after year, why in 2014, when these funds become available, can you not, as a government, undertake this as a major project in relation to a huge social need? Sinead.